please welcome your host, Michael Curtin.
Every profession has ideas that become so accepted that we just stop questioning them. Medicine has bloodletting, economics trickle-down theory, education had rote learning. Leadership has hierarchy. We spent more than a century assuming that authority creates influence. That if someone reaches the top of the organisation, people will naturally follow. But what if we've got it backwards? What if authority doesn't create influence? What if influence creates authority? Welcome to the Leadership Experiment. I'm Michael Curtin. Today, we're putting one of management's oldest assumptions on trial. Not because hierarchy has disappeared, and not because organisations don't need structure, but because the world has changed. And leadership, perhaps, hasn't. Joining me today and following on from our recent leadership dialogue on the power of politics and purpose, we've brought back in our dialogue leader, Dale Bracegirdle, and with him, fellow agents provocateurs from the Leadership Experiment, Clare Beumont and Richard Kelly. Welcome, everyone. Dale, I'm going to come straight at you. You spent the webinar arguing that personal power is becoming more important than positional power. Sounds compelling, except organisations don't really behave that way. The biggest offices, the biggest salaries, the biggest bonuses, they're still attached to hierarchy. So, what is it? Are organisations irrational? Or is this just another leadership ideal that sounds better than reality?
Can we pause there? Have I got a different script? Sure.
You've got the one I sent out on Monday.
Oh, right. That might be where I have gone.
Fatal mistake is.
That's like, this sounds brilliant, Michael. Yeah, well, hang on a second. That was different to the other one, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
right.
okay.
Well, I've clearly prepared the other one. Just a moment, I'll open that one.
Oh, okay.
Can I open it? Brilliant. It's just opening. Just one moment. I'm sure it hasn't changed significantly.
In intent it hasn't, but it does in it's much more provocative. It's much more.
It's a bit sort of.
Okay, great.
Yeah. You've got the new one, Claire? Just checking.
I've got the new one. Yeah.
All right. Right, here we go. I've got it.
Lead you in, or are you happy to jump straight?
Will you just cut it together then?
Yes,
Richard?
You start whenever you're ready. Do you want to take 5 to read through it, Dale?
No. I'll have a crack at it and then we'll see. All right, ready? Actually, I think organisations are being perfectly rational. They're simply optimising for yesterday. Hierarchy evolved because it solved the problem. Factories, military organisations, railways, large bureaucracies, they really all depend on consistency. Consistency requires control. Control really requires hierarchy, and hierarchy requires positional authority. That model worked brilliantly until work changed. Now, our greatest organisational challenges aren't operational, they're adaptive. Nobody has the answer. We have to really discover it together, and that's where positional authority starts losing its edge.
So, am I hearing hierarchy isn't broken, it's solving the wrong problem?
Yeah, exactly. And the danger is that we're still selecting leaders using 20th century criteria for 21st century complexity.
Can I jump in? Because I think this shows up everywhere. I've watched brilliant technical experts become really mediocre leaders, not because they weren't intelligent, far from it, because they'd spent 20 years being rewarded for the person who had the answers. Leadership suddenly required, do you know what? Questions. Nobody had prepared them for that at all.
Yeah, Richard, that's so true, because my observations are that organisations actually don't promote leadership. They promote technical competence. Those aren't the same thing. Competence is about solving known problems, your classic technical challenge, but leadership increasingly exists where there aren't known solutions to problems, and that's fundamentally a really different capability.
So it sounds like we've accidentally confused expertise with leadership. Well, let's think about purpose then. It's become one of those words that I use too often. Everyone uses a lot. Mission, purpose, values, authenticity. Sometimes I wonder whether we've almost worn those words out. So convince me, should a cynical executive care about purpose? Why?
Because purpose isn't inspirational, it's neurological. When people don't understand the why, their brains default to uncertainty. Uncertainty creates threat, and then threat narrows our thinking. So when we think about purpose, purpose really reduces uncertainty. It creates a level of psychological safety, and then suddenly people become more creative, more collaborative, more resilient. That's not ideology. It's really simply, at its core, neuroscience.
So I'm hearing purpose isn't soft. That's another way of expressing it, is that it's cognitive architecture.
Yeah, exactly.
Can I just build on that? Because I think organisations often misunderstand purpose. They think that purpose is something that you write and put in your strategy documents. I think purpose is something people experience, and they experience that in every meeting, every decision, every promotion, and those things are the things that reinforce purpose or quietly dismantle it. Culture isn't built by value statements, it's built by repeated behaviour.
Claire, that's really insightful, and that's why simulations can be so powerful. People can't hide behind corporate language. Pressure exposes assumptions. Values actually become visible. You discover what actually drives decision making, not what people say drives decision making.
So I'm hearing a really awesome and important distinction here. Purpose isn't tested in speeches, it's tested in the decisions we make and execute. So here's my theory. Tell me if I'm wrong. I don't think most poor leadership is malicious. I think it's actually anxious.
Yeah, I think you're right. Look, pressure changes our behaviour. We know that. The board wants results. Customers become impatient. Markets tighten. Deadlines compress, and suddenly leaders stop influencing. They start controlling because control feels safer to them or known to them.
And that's actually a systems response. The system begins rewarding certainty. Curiosity disappears, learning slows. People stop asking the difficult questions. The organisation does become more efficient at becoming less adaptive.
What a brilliant sentence. The organisation becomes more efficient at becoming less adaptive.
And we've all seen it. The irony is, the more uncertain the future becomes, the more organisations crave certainty, which means they double down on exactly the leadership behaviours that are least suited to uncertainty.
So let me try to capture this. Anxiety creates positional leadership, which creates compliance, which reduces innovation, which increases anxiety. It's a huge feedback loop.
That's exactly right, Michael. And that's why you can't solve this with better training, better communications training or whatever. It's a systems problem.
Systems, right. So let's tackle another assumption, pretty related, but it's different too. Politics. Every organisation says we don't do politics, which actually means we're very political. Dale, you made an interesting point. Politics isn't manipulation. Politics is simply how groups distribute power. Explain that, please.
Well, politics exists everywhere, everywhere that humans collaborate. It's unavoidable, but the question isn't whether politics exists, it's whether politics serves purpose. Healthy politics really helps groups make better decisions. Unhealthy politics protects individuals, and the difference is really profound.
That's where organisations get trapped. They spend an enormous effort trying to eliminate politics. Instead, they should be trying to align politics around purpose.
Yeah, and I think there's another question there, right? Who benefits from the current system? Because every organisational structure rewards something, be that speed, control, expertise, risk reduction. Whatever it rewards, people optimise for. If we want different leadership, we probably need different systems.
So it seems to me that our system in this discussion has brought us back to where we started. Maybe the problem isn't leaders, maybe it's the environments we're asking them to lead inside of. Before we finish, I'd like each of you to leave our listeners with just one experiment, not advice, an experiment. Something they can try tomorrow. Dale, what would you proffer?
Yep. Look, a really simple experiment. So before your next important conversation, write down your 5 core values. Now, for some of you, that's a point of thinking, but if you know your 5 core values, write them down, then read them out. Walk into the room for that meeting and notice what changes.
I like that. For me, I think it's around thinking differently in your next meeting. So rather going straight to what's the decision that needs to be made, start with thinking what are the assumptions we're making here and what might be wrong in those assumptions.
I think that's a great question, Claire, because too often we are just not wired, getting back to some of Dale's comments on the neuroscience of all this, to actually challenge our assumptions. We're very good at human beings at marching on and trying to create certainty. So I'd like someone, in terms of my experiment, find someone in your organisation who has influence without authority. Influence without authority. Ask yourself why people follow them. And you can see them in the lunchroom, you can see them at social events, you can see it, their presence in a meeting when someone says, I think we actually should check in with Michael before we make a decision on this. So there's some deferred power. And once you do this, I think you'll learn a lot more about leadership from them than from reading another leadership textbook.
What a bunch of awesome provocations. And I love that we're setting them up as experiments. For me, I'm going to suggest for 1 week, stop trying to sound like the smartest person in the room. Become the most curious instead. See what happens. Folks, every month you've heard from us. The leadership experiment exists for one reason, not to provide answers, but to challenge assumptions. Because perhaps leadership's greatest risk isn't that we don't know enough. It's that we're still solving yesterday's problems with yesterday's thinking. If today's conversation challenged you, great. Leadership should be uncomfortable because certainty has never changed the world, but curiosity has. And please remember, the goal isn't to become a better leader. The goal is to become harder to fool, especially by your own assumptions. Until next time, keep experimenting.
more information on the leadership experiments and to join our community, please go to www.theleadershipexperiment.com. Thank you for listening.